Welcome back. I'm just going to click this hello everybody, welcome back thing. You know, in the last few days, I've been having a lot of conversations with people who are in the media. And there's a theme, a kind of an underlying thread in all of our conversations. And the thread is their amusement, their enjoyment, and the degree of, I'm not going to say bafflement because they're in the business and they kind of know what's going on. But people are really quite amazed by my really interesting lack of ability in so many areas in the career path that I've chosen. And at the same time, I'm not indifferent. It's not that I'm sublime or ignorant or indifferent. I've just decided, you know what? We just need to keep moving forward, really. Good morning, Charles. I hope you're well. I hope Kat is well. So my conversation today is about our currency of communication. And many, many years ago, back in the midst of time, someone once, very wise person once said to me that we exchange every day in the marketplace, in our homes, in our relationships, in our commitments. We exchange at the human level the same way we exchange in tangible currency. Back when people traded in beads, or they traded in fur, or they traded in on your pre-birthday day. There's nothing like a pre-birthday day. I like a lot of pre-birthday days. I'm very fond of post-birthday days as well, Charles, as you know. So in this conversation about currency, a couple of things. One is my very good friend Carol Hay just got back from some lovely, amazing paradise place where I said, how was it? And she said, the sky was very blue every day. And I said, oh, a little too cheerful. And she said, no. But when I got home and I opened my eyes and the sky was cloudy, I found myself sighing with a bit of relief because, that much cheerfulness all the time is a lot to lean into. And the other conversation I had was with a group of people I didn't really know that well. I had directed them to a place I thought they might like, and they invited me to join them. And so when you walk into a group of people, you don't know what you're going to meet. And as a military kid and a showbiz kid, what I have done quite often, really without realizing it, but now I'm paying more attention because I'm talking about it, and I need to hear inside my head what it is that I am trying to put together for these wonderful videos. And by the way, today is video 175. Well, good morning, Eddie. How wonderful to see you. The conversation today that I'm having with you is about our currency, our human currency, what it is we trade in, what it is we are ranked for on the human friendship is magic exchange. What do we use to barter with, to come away from? In the same way that we use dollars and cents and pounds and pence and marks and francs and rubles and who knows what. In the same way that those currencies are promissory notes. If we all agree that gold has this value, then if I give you this coin with this much gold in it, we agree that I am giving you this value, and in exchange, you're going to give me something else that has equal value. That's how it works. So if we're talking about the human exchange, the currency is our words. And I noticed by very sharp contrast, the gathering I sort of wandered into, and then the gathering at my booth at Fanaticon, that there were two very different kinds of currency. Now, the difference was that I have a fair amount of control over the booth at Fanaticon. my booth, my boat. Swim if you like. and and my goal at Fanaticon is to give everyone a memory to take away that is basically, I'm the smartest guy on the planet. Why? Because I chose to go to Abby's booth, and I had a wonderful time. I left that booth taller and my shoulders back, grinning. I don't know what she puts in those feather boas, but I'm willing to invest. And they did, and they do. And we have fun and we laugh. And the pictures I posted on Facebook today to lean into this episode were pictures of one of my new paparazzi. So my tried and true standard bearer is John Major, and he just moves heaven and earth, and we are forever grateful that we know him. And I had two new paparazzi. I had Gary Raish and I had Amy. Now, and Amy's last name is kind of a tongue twister, so I'm just going to say Amy, and with apologies. Now, the thing that I wanted to do with these two people, and when I say new paparazzi, I don't mean that they'd never done it before. I mean, they were new to me, much like most of the cars I've ever owned. What I wanted them to do was bring their quality, their personality, their attitude, their sense of humor, their engagement, their focus, and their general smiling, this is going to be fun demeanor. I wanted them to bring that with them and their camera, because everything connects. Everything is a molecule, and everything's bouncing, and they ping off each other, and the ripple effect is incredible. So with John doing the lion's share duty, 47,000 places at the same time, and Gary catching the side looks, the back over the shoulder, round the corner pictures. Quite often, Gary was taking a picture that included John and Amy because he was behind them or beside them or reflecting all of the moment in the mirror and giving me that third dimension that my pictures had been missing. That's just delicious. What really was important was not only how much fun he was having and how much fun he'd had the first year when I met him. What was delicious was in our conversations after Fanaticon, how impressed he is, how moved he is, how intrigued he is by the joy, by the fun, by the laughter, by this genuine magic transference thing that goes on. And it has puzzled him. Now, Gary is also participating in my Pivotry in Motion project. He and I had a conversation. He's included in one of the chapters about a pivotal change in life. And for a lot of my subjects, a lot of the people I talked to, they had realized one day that what they were saying okay to had stopped being okay a long time ago. And they just kept nodding because they weren't really ready to pull the plug and walk away. And then something, for each of them, something triggered, nope, played here and closed. Check, please. And in our conversations, it was a really interesting dance to try and figure out what it was. Because sometimes, in a lot of cases, it wasn't one thing. It was the cumulative effect of many small things. Like the water torture. It's not the one drop of rain. It's all the drops of rain. So back to, Fanaticon. People who come to the booth, the joy I get is seeing the way I can flip them from whatever mood they were in, kind of, I wonder what Abby's doing this year, to best time ever. How that happens and how quickly it can happen and what it is that it takes to make that happen. Why? Because when they walk away, they are just having the best time ever. And they're telling their friends. And their friends become curious and come to check it out. And it's contagious, and that's what I want. I don't want to be in a room full of people walking around like their ties are caught in their zipper. I want, first of all, it's a lovely look. It's a fabulous look, darling. I want people smiling and saying, all right, we're walking here. Have you been to Abby's booth? You got to go. She's got a new colored boa. You wait till you see it. And so it becomes a different currency of communication, doesn't it? It becomes upbeat. It becomes oh, excuse me. Okay, Charles, good luck to Kat. Charles and Kat are going for therapy on her shoulder, and so really important. She's doing so well. Surgery after an accident, after an incident, long haul, right? And you know that it's going well makes it easier to be positive. It's easier to be positive on a sunny day, right? What I'm talking about is all the little rain clouds that have been raining on us. My analogy at the beginning of talking about our currency, you know what it's like when we go to get exchange on our dollar, when we travel, and we get how much? It's like, hey, we're going to go on a picnic. And then we look at what we got and we think, who rained on my parade? What happened? Clearly, I'm not having as much for the picnic. It's such a shock. And it leaches the joy right out of the moment. We almost don't want to go, but we're here. And that's sad. And it is avoidable. It takes some work, yes. It also takes some paying attention. It takes sitting up and taking notice and double checking if we are being a victim or a volunteer, if we are part of the problem or part of the solution. And that's what mirrors are for. You walk by a mirror, just look. What's the expression on your face? Stop and look. Don't stop and say, oh God, look at me. No. Just look at the expression. Why are you looking like that? What are you thinking and feeling that is reflecting on your face? Look at that. I'm not talking about, am I beautiful? We're all beautiful. Some of us have a more visible beauty than others. What I'm talking about is the expression, the emotion that is coming out through. The eyes. What are the eyes saying? What is your smile saying? What is the set to your jaw and your chin saying? I don't mean double chin, and I don't mean I need to lose 20 pounds. I mean, what are we feeling and hearing when we see your face? Because that's a reflection of how you are on the inside. And that's on us. We need to work on that to make it better. So here was my analogy today. This group that I sat with for a short time, there were some snarkers at the table. And every time something positive happened and someone would laugh or grin, the snarker, you could hear, would mutter something negative, derogatory, complainy. Why? Well, it disrupts the energy, right? It's an external pattern interrupt. And it pulls all the focus back to them. Dominant energy runs the game. If everybody's going, and then in the break after the big laugh, the person says, everybody looks at them. And the joy is gone, like at the exchange. And everybody who was happy a second ago isn't. And so the snarker, who's keeping score, wins that round. If somebody on the other side says, watch this, and brings out a laugh, the snarker will wait and find a way to. Why? Because that's their currency of exchange. That is who they are. That is what they trade in. The shares aren't worth much. And everything around them is devalued. The sky isn't quite as blue. The sandwich tastes a little off. The drink isn't quite cold enough. Everything is beige. Everything is, why did I even bother? And I could spend a lifetime wondering why they do that. But frankly, Scarlett, I have fish to catch. Bender just limped in with a flat tire and his flat. Got the feel something. Yeah. See, they got something fixed. Something broke. They got it fixed. Why? Because they wanted to go to the show. This is Eddie, darling, wonderful Eddie. He and his partner were at a show, a trade show, and everybody comes bringing their stuff, bringing the stuff to show, bringing the stuff to buy, bringing the stuff to trade, and bringing the baggage. Everybody, unless they know the rule. And the rule is leave the baggage in the car. That's what the trunk is for. If you're worried that you're going to forget it, that's what the later folder's for. Take a minute, open the later folder, write it down, pat the later folder. I'll be back. Leave it in the car. Go in and enjoy the moment. Because if you don't, why did you spend all the money and the time and the effort to pack 3 pairs of beige shorts to go to this event? Why? Why would you do that if you're going to be the one to sabotage it? It's crazy. Are you afraid of having a good time? Okay. Would you rather have a lousy time? Does that feel like something you can control? Okay. Just don't sit next to me, because that's not why I'm coming. That's not why I'm here. So the currency of exchange, there's a way to check if anyone around you is dealing in snarks and snipes. So a snark is kind of self thing. A snipe is, right? They put you down. They put you down. They put you down. And it becomes exhausting having a conversation with them. Just exhausting. Because it's disrespectful. It isn't fun. And now the thing you wanted to talk about is not what you're talking about. Now it has to be all about them, because you're telling them to please stop. And then it's a boring, annoying thing. And so the answer, talking to another friend of mine, the answer is to say, well, gosh, look at the time. Gotta run, great chat, and walk away. And the walk doesn't necessarily mean that. It means put the distance between. As this brilliant friend of mine, friend in the sense that we have come to know each other's work and we recognize each other's footprints in the sand. As this brilliant friend of mine, Mandy Morris, says, we have permission to love people from afar. We don't have to break up with them. If we truly care, we shouldn't have to. To defend our energy and live our lives on our terms, we don't have to go to an extreme. We simply draw a heart-shaped line in the sand and love them from the other side, from a distance, where the ripple effect of their snark and their snipe isn't quite as pronounced. Is it going to rock the boat a little bit? Maybe. Not much. Not if we love them from afar. Because that diffuses and diminishes their power. It deflates the drama, the empty, pointless drama, which does nothing, achieves nothing, takes nothing forward. Its purpose is to keep us stuck here. Why? Because that person wants to. Okay. You stay stuck. I'm going here. Be well. Live long and prosper. We can do that. Our currency on the Friendship is Magic exchange does not have to tank in the gutter. We don't need to have people walk away from their moment with us going, that's it? Did I shave my legs for this? We don't have to do that. We own our little square spot. We get to call the rules our way. And when we pull up our little spot next to others in our little boat and we say, hey, how's it going? And we hear people saying, hey, great, come and join us, yay. Or we hear people saying, well, we can park our boat over here next to them. We don't have to sit next to whatever that is. We can come and go as we please because snarking and sniping are contagious, the same as joy and happiness and laughter. Any room that you're in, one person sneezes, the next thing you know, one person coughs, the next thing you know, one person rustles paper or shuffles in their seat, the next thing you know. And speaking as someone who's usually on the stage, you, you want to say, okay, who started it? You. Stop that. It's not bad enough I got to be heard over it. I now feel like I need to sneeze too. So the currency exchange is this. The world we live in, and let's use countries. Let's use countries just because it's easy. Okay? Canada and the US are close neighbors, right? In several points on our continents, we touch, our borders touch, and our people cross back and forth. We are close to Greenland, right? We are close to Russia. We are close to, that's pretty much it as in terms of closeness physically. And so all of it, and in the north, all the places that have their own habits and their own routines and their own currencies live based on those values. You know, somebody comes to Canada from the south, from the US, and they change their US dollars. They get, they change a US $10 bill, and they get a lot more money in Canadian funds. The thing is, Canadian funds also buy at that rate as well. So you go to some places in Europe, you go to some places in the South, in the other countries in Asia, and people come away in some countries saying, "My God, I ordered a sandwich and a soft drink, and it was $85." And in another place, they say, "So I had a 5-course meal and a bottle of wine, and it was $11." Based on how we rate things, different countries deliver to us surprising outcomes because their currency change is so different from ours, culturally different from ours, their priorities different from ours. When I walk into a room and there are people arguing in a corner, or you get on an elevator and everybody's quiet, but there was an argument going on just before the door went bing and opened, right? Because there's this fug of thick, heavy, dank energy. Same thing happens if you look at their faces. You can see there's tightness in their faces. Same thing happens when you get on, bing, doors open, and you can tell that everybody just did something really funny. Why? Different posture, different expressions, and the energy is much lighter. And that's the elevator car you want to be on. Why? Because it's so much easier. You don't have to carry any of that stuff, and you don't have to be brushing it off you when you get off the elevator. Today, and I don't mean shoes day, but today, in this current time, we are now a couple of years past an alarming health crisis that was global in nature, that cost lives, that cost jobs, that cost a complete reorganization and orientation of every ordinary, everyday thing we do. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of panic. There was a lot of confusion. And that's perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. There were also 3 groups of people. People who got mad and stood their ground and said, "You can't make me, you're not the boss of me," and basically just got in the way. Everybody had to walk around them. I'm not your rock, I'm just a rock, and if you want to go there, you have to figure out a way to navigate past me. There were people who were digging in and leaning in and making a difference and saying, "How can we fix this? What can we do?" And those were the people who were helping us pilot our little boats into foreign waters, into strange waters. And then there were people who were completely out of the loop, stunned, overwhelmed, shocked, traumatized, grief-stricken, exhausted, broken, who could not help themselves anymore because they had given everything to help us. Those are the three groups. And we, if we're in the positive group, in the leaning in group, we have a choice. Well, we all have choices, but we in the leaning in group have a choice. We can choose to invest our time trying to coax and cajole the snarkers and the snipists into a positive frame of mind. And by the way, it's going to take a lot of coaxing because they don't want to come. They don't want to leave that comfort zone. Or we can invest our energies in the people who did and still do and would if they could. We can give what we have. And I don't mean Mother Teresa. I don't mean give away everything. I mean give what we have, what we can, what we do to help lighten their load, to take one thing off their shoulders, one thing. We have that choice. We have the opportunity to raise our human shares on the Friendship is Magic exchange. We have the opportunity to raise the quality of our currency and life. All we have to do is choose. Pretty simple, right? So that really is all that I had to say today. It's kind of short and sweet and simple, and yet essential. All the people who are complaining, all the people who want more than they have, will always want more than they have, because for some reason they feel that our piece of the pie is bigger than theirs. It's not here. And so it doesn't matter what we say or do. Must be nice. Look at her. She probably had work done. The number of women in my lifetime, the number of women who have strangers, complete strangers, who have walked up to me in public places and said, "What do you call that color of hair?" And I, every time, smiling brightly, "Expensive." Do you know why I do that? I do it. I do it for the pure shock value. It's much more fun and positive than giving them a raspberry. None of your business. I don't need to do that. It's expensive because they don't know what to say. Of all the things they had on their radar, that was not one of them. Oh, where did you have it? Oh, so it's not natural, darling. Nothing is natural. Nothing. I'm wearing glasses. That's not natural. You know why we're all grateful that I'm wearing glasses? I get into enough accidents with them. Imagine the possibilities. The things that have happened in our lives, not just mine, in our lives, the things that have happened in our lives. And I'm reminded as I say this of the lovely man, Derek Fage, who is the Rogers Daytime host and now producer, who has been in the business a long time, and he's just lovely and magical and whatnot. His TEDx talk is My Relentless Pursuit of Happiness. And it's wonderful. And the reason it's wonderful is because he is pursuing the alternative to what was on his plate. He is pursuing thanks and gratitude and joy and return on investment from the incredible people who have throughout his life loved and supported him. He cannot imagine a day without them. And he wants to make sure that as long as he's in the room, people know they matter. Now, that guy was early on in his life afraid to talk about the things that were wrong because they were embarrassing. And then he said one day, why? I need to talk about them because I'm not the only one. If I talk about them, I can demystify all of it. And, he can, a little bit by little bit. More importantly, I think, just to wrap this up, and I know I've just kind of gone off tangent a bit, more importantly, what Derek Fage does, as does Dylan Black, as does Lance Moran, as do all the people who love to lean in and create moments where people get to feel the magic. What they are doing is giving thanks for the magic moments that were given for them, to them, with them. They're giving back. And by the way, extending their own. And as we all choose that path, the snarkers and the snipists, they're off in their own little boat. And you can hear them in the distance, And it's not a happy sound. Good. Fly and be free. It is a place where nothing new happens. Nothing changes. Everything is always drab and gray and not good enough and not fair. And the more they dwell, the bigger it gets, the longer it stays. For them, over there. So how I check in, because we need to do an external pattern interrupt to make this correction happen, is I give myself a number ranking. Whenever I do it in the morning, I do it at night, and I do it throughout the day, whenever I feel my energy shifting, whenever I suddenly realize that I'm feeling anxious, whenever I realize that my breathing is different, this is my external pattern interrupt. I don't yell at me and I don't snap a wristband. I give myself a number ranking on a scale of 1 to 10. Where am I right now? My low end, my low end, my baseline is 7. I know I need work to do. I know I need to pay attention when I'm dipping below 7. So 7 is where I say, okay, all right, let's work on it. And I'm not, a Pollyanna at 10 all the time. No one is. The ocean ebbs and flows. So do we. What I want to be, what I deserve to have, and what I feel is right and fair and just, is that all the people who come in touch with me, who contact me, who feel my ripple effects, they deserve as much as I do and more. So if I say leading in, baseline is 7, okay. Baseline for all of them is 7. Let's see how close we can get to 10. That's my pattern interrupt. You will have yours. Yours might need to be a sound. Yours might need to be something that you do, a pattern, a set of worry beads, something, the wristband, whatever. Find an external pattern interrupt that you like and that you can use. I just check. If I look in the mirror and I think, what's that? Stop. 7. No, it's not good enough. 1, 8. Okay, what did I do wrong? Not wrong. What did I let slide? There. What did I let slide? Well, I need to do this. Okay, put it down. Write it down. Make it on the list. That's my advice tip today. That's my hint behind the scenes. So between now and Thursday, News is on its way to me about some fabulous things. I'm working, as you know, on the Pivotry project. I'm working, as you know, on finding a venue. And I think I may have a line on a venue that would just be, well, it would be wonderful and it would also be delicious. So that's two things. So I'm working on that. And of course, I'm doing my everyday thing, which is moving forward from the past, with the past guiding me. No sniping or snarkists allowed. Okay, you know the drill. Be good to you because you deserve it. Thank thee for watching and sharing this moment with me. And remember to hug your loved ones, even if they're snarkists and snipists. Hug them and then set them over there. And I will see you on Thursday. Thank you for watching. Episode 175. Thank you. See you soon.